I have a confession.
Tell me everything.
All right. So I've been filming all these courses online for, my courses, I guess, my class stuff. And what happens is you move everything around and you make everything look like it's okay. But what happens is everything's pushed to the side and looks crazy behind the camera. Also, I have to create a rig to get over people's faces the way I need them to, and also get my hands. And I need like a double camera at one point. So I have like a tripod, and then I don't have another tripod because I only have one tripod. So my man's like, well, I mean, I have like a vice grip. We could totally use that attached to a board. And so then we have like a precarious board sitting around. And I'm like, don't move too much because we'll knock the board down. And then at one point my cat comes in and tries to get on it. And I'm like, please God, don't let that happen. So all the stuff that happens when you're filming that no one knows about happens in real life, not just in Hollywood.
Yes.
Happens here too.
Yes. Behind every like well-crafted video you watch, behind that camera is their whole life piled in piles of shit.
A pile of junk. It's just a pile of junk. So in my background right now, if you look and you look at other episodes, if you're watching,
looks great.
It looks so nice, right? It's because I've had to do all these videos, and I looked in the background. I'm like, I can't. It's just looking like a hot mess back there. I can't have wax pots and gloves and whatever. Which, quite frankly, on Skinfessional, it's great because guess what? We use wax and gloves and everything, but God forbid during a course you might have to look at a wax pot and gloves.
I never. I mean, honestly, when I do classes in this room, I move the litter box out, I move the chair out, I move laundry baskets out, I move all this stuff out. The hallway looks like a freaking mess. And then in here, I'm like, hello and welcome. Everyone needs to know, behind every good video is a pile of junk behind the camera.
100% true. And maybe under the bed, and maybe in the hallway, and maybe stuffed into your car. I don't even know, because I'm running out of space to put the crap right now. It's because I have to keep moving locations so that it doesn't get boring.
Oh, no one cares.
I know. I get bored.
You get bored. Okay, fair.
I get bored. I'm like, oh, I can't talk here anymore. I have to go somewhere else to talk. I need a change of pace, change of scenery. And I suddenly understand why people rent places or get a hotel room, and you see it all fancy, and they're like, oh, I'm sitting at this Hyatt. Mm-hmm. That's because then the cleaning crew comes in and none of your shit is there.
Yep. Ain't that the truth? Well, when this course is finally done and people are able to consume it, not only is it going to be so freaking amazing and filled with knowledge, but also they can appreciate what's behind the camera.
Yes, they can. They'll know how the sausage gets made.
A lot of it. So much sausage.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Hi, I'm Sybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses, running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've clearly already figured it all out, which is why we're here to tell you everything we know about what it takes to make six figures and beyond.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
Oh my God, so much of it totally sucks. Let's get started.
That line every time is right to the heart. Oh,
yeah, that's so true.
So much of it sucks. And actually, we're going to talk about some of that sucky stuff today, specifically. Well, first of all, welcome back to Skinfessional. You are here. You have arrived. We are about to get real about the sucky stuff. Today's show, we're going to talk about the fact that you are already a copycat, and there's nothing really new under the sun.
And how being not special might just set you apart.
Yes. So we came on today. I've literally since 11:15. I almost called you like, we need to start early because I was like, I need to talk to you about all kinds of stuff. But also, right before we started recording, I realized that I pulled a card from one of the decks that I have, which is from Gabrielle Bernstein, which I think there's some problematic stuff with COVID things, whatever. But the card said, my greatest experience of freedom comes when I let go of what others think of me. So I had to experience this. And whenever you put yourself out there with anything, whether it's a new course like you are doing, Sybil, or even just like putting yourself out on social media, and we've talked about this before, there's this fear of what is everybody else gonna think of me?
Right? Yeah. What's the queen going to say? What is she going to say? She's going to judge me. I just know it.
That, and also like, what if I'm wrong? Right? Like,
That
what if
is
I say
good.
something and I'm wrong? And
Mm.
for me, like the people who matter the most, and I think this is where it gets difficult, is like we give people who don't matter
Yes.
to us the power to decide what we are allowed to say and what we're not allowed to say. When really, like, you have your core group of people. Like, I knew right away this morning when somebody tried to call me out and say I was being fraudulent, I knew exactly who I was going to ask and who I was going to talk to. Like, hey, what do you think? Because their opinion matters most, not this random ass stranger who's very, very upset on the internet.
Right.
So we wanted to talk about how you're not special. Okay. Like, let's just start there, because everybody thinks that they have this like super unique idea that needs to be defended, and they're willing to tear other people down to keep it that way.
Absolutely. Well, and I wanted to make sure that everyone knows, if for some reason this episode starts getting a little triggery for you, all right. One of the other things that out there all the time right now is shadow work. People are like, "Oh, do your shadow work." I don't hear it in the distance. Shadow work. Yeah.
Shadow
So,
work, shadow work.
shadow work. This is going to be one of those episodes that might trigger you a little bit, and that's okay. I'm going to tell you to just keep listening and to hear it. Generally, if you feel triggered sometimes, it's usually because you need to hear something. There's an old adage that, when you're upset, it's because somebody's holding a mirror up to you. So if there's somebody that you hate, you're like, I hate when they do that. I hate that person. They rub me the wrong way. They probably are holding a mirror up to you.
I don't want to look in the mirror.
Yeah. So just, give yourself a little bit of space and room to be like, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with this conversation, or, feel empowered by it, and give yourself room, because we are going to be talking about trolls on the internet. We're going to be talking about people who might be judging you, or the feelings of judgment that people get on you, and people questioning you and how to handle that situation.
You've been questioned as well. A lot, right?
Yeah. So recently, Alex and I, we are very good at what we do, both of us. And we stand firm in our knowledge that we are awesome. But the more you stand in that confidence, the more people will kind of come in and be like trying to beat you down, because they don't like to hear confidence. People get stressed by it. And as I've been putting up the information about my courses, I've been getting conversations and questions about my qualifications. Right? And estheticians, you hear this all the time as well. Your clients will also be like, well, what makes you qualified to tell me how to do these things? Because clearly you know nothing, being an esthetician, about skincare. Well, generally when I have a conversation, somebody asks me like, what are your qualifications to teach, this course on massage? My answer is always more than yours. And that's how I leave it. Just more than yours.
I honestly feel though, like if people are asking, that is probably true.
Yes, more than yours. Absolutely. And this is the thing. And this is where confidence and belief in yourself and a strong opinion all matter, which are things that make you who you are.
Yeah. But also, okay, a thing that's coming to mind for me is there are people out there who are super confident, who are charlatans and like have nothing to back up what they're actually saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So how do you navigate that, where, we are confident, newly confident over here. And also I have over a decade of experience to back it up. And I know that that's true.
Right.
Yeah. So like, what are your thoughts on that, navigating like I'm not a charlatan versus charlatans?
Right. So, I think one of the things is, if somebody's asking you for your qualifications, hopefully you have your qualifications somewhere, but the proof is in the pudding to a certain degree. If somebody's following you and they're watching what you're doing, clearly they think that what you're doing is right. They're like, they're finding what you're happening. They're aligning with you. They're into it. Let's say that the other person, and we have a whole entire episode about the fact that we hate these people, but we can't seem to get away from them. Those people, I mean, I hate to say it, they probably have a person who loves them, watches them, and adores them. And in that person's mind, they're the right person. They're the fit. They're the right person. And therefore, they're not a charlatan for them.
Right.
I'm going to bring up the fiber blaster for a moment. Does everybody, can we, the fascia blaster. The fascia blaster.
Yes.
Okay, can you harken back to, God, it feels like the 90s, but it's not. The fascia blaster.
But you know what's even interesting about that tool is the person who created it is a physical therapist.
Yes. And this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you can have all of the certifications and still have no right to be doing what you're doing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It goes either way. It goes, and that's what I'm saying about qualifications. It doesn't matter. Your qualifications to a certain degree don't matter. It's actually what your skills are for how long you've been doing it and who believes in what you're doing. And some of that belief is you.
Yeah. Although I would argue qualifications do matter somewhat, like if you're going to have like open heart surgery.
Oh, yes.
But
I agree.
Even that, I think
if I'm following those people on TikTok, we got problems.
Yes, also true. I do think that there's, in any sort of profession, and I'm sure that it's the same within estheticians, there are those who go to school, they get their license, however long that school is, and then they decide that they are done learning. And then there are those of us who go to school, we do the stuff, and we never stop learning. And we are always getting more things, learning more things, new techniques, bringing that into our own experience to create something that is wholly unique that we can, put out there. And you can't say like, well, I learned this at that school or, in this training program or whatever, because your experience is coming through. And I think that's where people like, they want us to fit into a clean box and like, check all the boxes for them. And it's like, but life experience isn't neat like that.
You're absolutely right, Alex. And I'm going to roll back for a second and be like, Alex is 100% right. And I am going to change my opinion to a certain degree, which is what this is all about. So let's say that as a person, you're sitting around, you're like, I'm confident in my ideas. I'm strong in my opinions. I believe in what I believe in. I do believe that there's a part of you that to be unique and to be good at what you do and to be like a leader at what you do, because I think that all those things are necessary. You also have to be willing to, and Alex and I really honed in on this, being willing to take in other people's ideas, take in new ideas and evolve.
Yeah.
Kind of bring them in onto yourself and be like, how does that change me? How does that make me different? Because like, everything is moving forward. We're learning constantly. The world is changing. And to not change, to stay static and still is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, even like, again, doctors, because people are like, well, they're a doctor, they know everything. If like your cardiologist is still talking about how cholesterol is causing heart attacks, like there's a problem, right? Like that has already been proven not true, So 1,000%, if you're not able to continue to learn, I think that's a bigger problem than somebody saying like, well, what are your qualifications? Like, what do you know? Why should I trust you? It's like, if you don't trust me, don't trust me. I'm not going to prove myself to you because this is a dead end conversation.
Then, that brings up a really great point. Maybe a good question to ask somebody who you're interested in learning from is, what classes have you taken? Who have your instructors been? Or what was the last thing you learned? That's a really good one. Because I mean, honestly, the person who asked me about my qualifications, if she'd been like, what was the last class you took to teach this? Or what was the last thing you learned? I'm like, hey, 3 weeks ago, I was just taking a class from this Israeli lady because like her technique seemed really cool. And I learned a lot from it. And I'm now evolving some of my protocols because of it.
That's such a fantastic question of like, what's the last thing you learned? Because I think that also will let you know if that person is a lifelong learner. And for me,
absolutely, that's such a great question.
Yeah, for me, it's more important that the person I'm collaborating with, I'm working with, or whatever, is evolving and not stagnant? And that question is going to give you all the answers you want. Because I don't really care, to be honest. Like, again, unless you're cutting my chest open, what your qualifications are. I just want to know, like, are you still learning? Are you still, pushing the envelope, or are you still going to tell me some bullshit that you learned in school 25 years ago that's no longer relevant? I don't care about that.
I even care about my doctors. So, for example, when I had my knee surgery done, I didn't want the doctor who was like, I've been doing this for 35 years. I've done a million of these where I've taken out the meniscus. And then, in 5 years, you've had to get a new knee. I wanted the guy who's like, so I pioneered the technique where you sew the meniscus up and you repair it. And that way we can keep it stable and you should be healthy for hopefully the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that guy.
Mm-hmm. I think too, like, in this uniqueness and in this, fear of being a copycat or whatever, that from what you said about your surgeon too, there's this sense that, even with all the things I know and all the experience I have, I'm still open to be surprised at what might come, that I know that I don't have all the answers. And that alone, like that, would it be like humility, I think is more valuable to me than 700 degrees and 700 classes and more classes and like all this stuff that you may have taken or learned.
Yeah. The excitement about discovery, that you're always like learning and discovering, but still having an opinion. So I've met the people who are like, they're always learning and therefore they're like, well, I'm still forming my ideas. I'm like, well, you can form your ideas and still have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can be like, well, I'm willing to listen, but this is right now, here I am. This is the idea that I have. And one of the things that happens, I find on social a lot, is that people don't want to, go out and they don't want to make a video. They don't want to talk about things because they're like, well, I don't feel comfortable in like what I'm saying because I don't have a degree and somebody's going to talk smack about me. And somebody else on the street already said it. And I think they probably said it better than me.
Yep. No. I think, like what we've already talked about too is your experience and your blend and the fact that you have absorbed all of these different opinions, whether you took the class or you saw a video and then you're like, oh wait, but what if I put that with this, with that? Like your secret sauce is always going to be unique because it's you. Yeah. And like, that's what people are coming for, is for your secret sauce, not just because like, well, you do facials. And if they are just looking for any old facial, like by all means, go right ahead. I'm not your person if that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking for the best, the cutting edge, the most passionate about bringing you the best ever, that's what I can do for you. And I think that that's for sure where both of us would probably land.
Absolutely. And when you're also thinking about these things where you're kind of worried about being, a copycat or a poser because you don't want to like go out online, or you have an idea for something and you're like, no, but I think it's already been done a million times. You just have to remember that it probably has. It's okay. It's okay. It's been done a million times. Alex and I were literally talking about the fact that TikTok videos are the best ones are actually scripted. And I've written down the script for them. And here's the script. And I'm like, Alex, the ones that are hitting hardest for you right now are the ones that you're literally hitting the script marks for. Because people like the same. There's a reason why people go to the same. They go to Burger King all the time. They go to the Hyatt Inn. They like us the sameness. But at the same time, they want your special zhuzh. They want your, that secret sauce that's just you. So if I could be like, hey, you can go to Burger King, but also I'm going to give you my special take on it. You'd be like, oh, tell me more. I'm intrigued.
Right. Well, it's also, like burgers. Just because McDonald's made a burger doesn't mean nobody else can make burgers, right? And there are people who will fight you that McDonald's is a better burger than Shake Shack or whatever. And like, okay, fine. I completely disagree. But I think, people think, myself included, like, oh, well, it has to be like super new and I can never do the same thing again because like it's just got to be fresh. I can't repeat myself. But like psychology is psychology and our brains respond to patterns and it feels comforting. And so, it doesn't. Yes, we're saying be super, super unique, but don't let this fear of like having to create something brand new every single time stop you, because literally nothing since the iPhone is like brand new anymore. Okay. Nothing.
No, and no, nothing as far as I can tell is new. Nothing. And I mean, technically, the iPhone is just an iteration on a computer and a phone together. Somebody's like, wouldn't it be awesome if I could have a
Yeah.
telephone that did all the stuff and was a computer at the same time? It'd be magic.
Magic.
So the person who thinks of the next idea, who makes something that's like magic, you're like, yeah, I was just talking to my man about the fact that I want to have the screens that drop down for like in the future movies all the time. Like, when is
Yeah.
that happening? They're just
Oh,
put
we're
out
just
in
like
front of me.
yeah, just, I know.
The stuff floats out in front of you and you just swipe it around. It happens in the Marvel films even. They just swipe it around. I'm like, I'm waiting for that land because
I
then
hope in
I
our
don't have
lifetime.
a stupid device in my hand.
Maybe
Yeah.
like, didn't they try it with like Google Glass or something
Yeah.
and like Snapchat glasses or?
They've tried a few times, but once again, we have whole episodes on failure. So you fail a few times until somebody finally does it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how it is.
But I mean, yeah, I'm just thinking too, there isn't really anything unique. You know, even stuff like I could watch, I'm just thinking I could watch something and then I can teach it and it's going to be different because it's coming through my filter and my lens and my own lived experience always.
That's correct. I can give you a facial and you can go get the exact same facial that I taught one of my people to give you. And it's going to be their facial. It's going to be different. You're going to be like, oh, this kind of feels the same. I mean, I understood what I was getting. I went in and I wasn't like surprised because something different, crazy happened. But you're like, I don't know, somebody else touched me. It was their stuff. It felt like them. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So I'm like, just do the thing, you guys. Don't let it stop you because honestly, like
I feel like you say this a lot.
Yeah, every single person has these doubts about themselves, about what they're putting out into the world. And if that doubt stops you from sharing something that's going to change somebody else's life, like I feel like we failed that person. Why not put yourself out there? Is it going to be rough? Is it going to be hard? Are people going to sometimes say stuff that makes you want to throw up in your mouth? Like, yeah, they are. But like, you will survive.
You will. Alex, are you surviving right now from the weird, horrible trolls?
Oh my God. I mean, if there's anything I've learned in my now 4 months of therapy, which feels like a freaking lifetime, is the ability to reflect. And so I literally pulled this card this morning and I can't remember, 2 of them popped out. And usually I just pull one, but 2 cards were like, no, you must have us both. And this was one of them. And I was like, well, this is cute. Let me write about this. And now it's proving to be the lesson I needed more than I even knew I needed. It's funny how that works out. But yeah, trolls are awful. They're usually someone, Brene Brown talks about this too, right? Like the opinions of others, unless they're in the ring with you, they don't matter.
No. And that usually it's based on their own insecurities.
Yeah. And also like, I had an experience, gosh, this was probably 5 years ago with a mentor whom I thought was a friend. Where, I had taken a class with this person and then was sharing what I had learned on social media. And this person called me up like hysterical, so angry, screaming at me about how dare I steal from them. And that was so rude. And how could I? And how dare you? Like so angry. And I decided not at that moment, because I had to cry a little bit, like throw up in my mouth a little bit. But that I wasn't in competition with other people. And I never wanted to be in competition with other people. And if my light shining bright, being the person who I want to be, my most authentic self threatens you, that says more about you than it does about me. Because I know I'm not lying. I know I'm not a charlatan. I'm not like, I'm going to throw him under the bus. A medical medium, how can he even use the word medical? There's nothing medical about this guy's experience. And he tells you to drink like cucumber juice or whatever, and like celery juice, and people do it. They shouldn't, okay? I'm not that. I'm not a charlatan. I'm an honest person. I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying to be true. I vet myself, okay? So when people come at you for that, it says so much more about them than it does about you.
Absolutely. And you will have people come out of the woodwork. It happens. And sometimes they blindside you and you're like, whoa, I didn't realize that you were going to be one of those people. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Remember, the people who care about you support you. Now, they can give you criticism and you can listen to it or you can ignore it. There's nothing wrong with somebody giving you what I consider constructive criticism. And the word constructive is the important part there. So
Yeah.
Alex and I are very good at this. We're very good at being like, yes, but you should be probably thinking about doing this because it would make it better.
Yes.
But then it's your choice whether you do it or not. That's how it works. That's how it works.
At this point, I feel like you have the formula, right, to being unique. You need to know yourself, know what you stand for. You need to be confident in what you believe. You need to have a strong opinion. If you are out there like on the top of the mountain with like a little flimsy flag and you're like, okay, this is what I believe in. No, you stick that flag in and you stand on that. And that's going to be the hill that you are not going to die on, but you're going to stand on that hill and battle till the end. Okay. Yeah. And at the same time, be willing to listen to others and bend and absorb what they have to share and still maybe decide to keep it or not, but make that your own.
Absolutely. That is the point. And remind you that it is okay if, as you take in their ideas, that their ideas become part of your ideas. And then you're like, those are really good ideas. I am then going to then take those out. As I said, make them my own. And it's going to feel maybe like copying. Somebody might say it's copying. It wasn't copying. It's just a different form now.
Yes.
It's your version. It's okay.
Asterisk, none of this is trademark. Trademark advice, so please don't take it as that. But this is the bigger conversation.
Holds a bunch of trademarks. It's a whole different world.
Yes, but this is, I want you to have the confidence to go out there and say the thing and do the thing and have the opinions and be the person that you want to be in this world without worrying what other people are thinking about you.
Yeah. Fear, let it go. It's time. So we want to hear from you.
Let it go.
Let it go. Okay, the singing version of it. We want to hear from you. We want to hear, actually, I just want to hear about your uniqueness. And I also would love to hear from you on TikTok because Alex and I are now going to go rule TikTok. So Alex is going slightly viral on there. Who are you on TikTok, Alex?
I'm at AE Wellness on TikTok.
Yes, she is.
Come follow, come hang out. Please be nice. I mean, I'll also add in that post where someone is like trying to tear me down, literally a stranger is like, I did 3 of your videos and you changed my life. So like do it for those people, not for the angry white man with 0 to 4 followers who is here to tear you down.
That is correct. And I'm a skin fitness expert, and I'm skin fitness expert everywhere, guys. I'm really excited. IG reached out to me and they're like, would you like to have skin fitness expert? And I was like, it wasn't available. And they're like, it is now. I'm like, sweet. So I'm rebranded.
Yes. I actually had to just go check because I was like, couldn't remember what it is. So yes, hit us up. Take a screenshot of the episodes you're listening now or not, whatever, but we do want to hear from you at Skin Fitness Expert. The show is at Skinfessional. It's like confessional, but instead of CON, it's skin. Get it, right? Yeah. And I am at Hala for Mala. We would love to hear your own stories of finding your voice, finding your uniqueness, battling with trolls, and planting that flag for what you believe in, because what you say matters. It really does.
That's true.
You can also leave us a voicemail inside of our box.
It's a sweet little box too. It's very nice.
Box one.
It's very clean and tidy right these days. The number is 818-473-5277.
So clean and tidy.
So clean and tidy. So until next week,
keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.